Good morning. Welcome to the Carla Marie and Anthony Show. My name is Anthony.
I'm Carla Marie.
And I know we have a lot of people dealing with snow as they are checking out today's live stream. So Thank you very much. It is still not snowing here in Seattle, and it probably won't until Christmas.
But it's super foggy right now. Mm-hmm. And when you walk outside and you blow at all, there's so much, you can see your breath so much. And it's
cold.
Not the norm.
For this time of day, it is. You got to remember, for almost 3 years, you didn't have to go outside in the morning for work. Now that you never went outside early. And even before that,
I never went outside in the morning when it was light out either. Yeah. Because even when I did, it was 4 a.m., 5 a.m.
And then for a long time, you were parking in a parking garage in an apartment building. So it's not like you've dealt with the morning conditions very often, because you drove from one parking garage to another parking garage when we had radio jobs.
And then when I worked, but once I moved into my house, it was almost a year.
You moved in November. We got let go in July. So that was what you had those months there. And that was in 2020.
Yeah, but the parking garage to parking garage was my good karma for walking 15 New York City blocks for years.
Yeah. There were times working in New York where I would wear full snowboarding gear. I'm talking boots, my snow pants, full jacket, hat, goggles. Gloves. The only thing I was missing was my helmet, which probably would have been nice. But
yeah, we would wear goggles. That was during the polar vortex.
Yeah. I mean, it was -6, and we were just walking through the streets of New York City. And if you've never been in New York in the winter, I'm sure you've been to colder places.
Yeah.
There's something Jess in Minnesota, Martha in Kansas. There's people around the country who dealt with harder winters. But the wind, the way it whips through those buildings, it'll get you. It cuts your face.
I don't miss it.
No, I don't miss. That's probably the one part of the East Coast that I really don't miss. I could deal with the humidity in the summer.
No.
I'm just going to understand that I'm going to be a sweaty mess.
I don't know, actually.
What would you take?
What is my question?
You have to choose between, you could get rid of one. Let's do that. You get rid of the bitter winters in New York or the insane humidity in New York.
Bitter winters.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about that, though, because my brother had texted about we do a Christmas Eve lunch before our Christmas Eve dinner every year, and we usually go into New York City. There's been a few times we've stayed in New Jersey, but we'll go into New York City, see the tree, walk around, and he was like, I'm thinking we should stay in Jersey because now we have Adriana, and it's going to be a bitch to get a 1-year-old almost around in a carriage. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, it was bad enough with Ashley waddling around New York City last year, and I remember it was so cold. I think it was 14 degrees that we wore layers under our nice clothes for lunch. And my sister, her jacket, because she was so pregnant, didn't even button all the way. And I was like, yeah, I'm glad we're not doing that.
That makes sense. Let me fix my camera real quick.
I dropped my pen.
I want to get even with Carla Marie here. There we go.
Also, I've been having this.
That looks good.
This thought that my hair up against the white background.
Yeah.
It's not doing much for me.
Why is that?
It flushes me out. So
but your hair's not white.
But it's blonde.
Yeah, it's yellow.
And that's not how that works. I'm thinking I might have to become a brunette.
Okay, go for it.
Because then I would pop in the studio.
Well, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up, because one of the things we've been working on are these cameras.
Oh.
Okay. So we got these cameras. They're called the OBSBot cameras. And they are pretty great because they do have motion tracking. They're easy. I can change different things here, right? Different angles and whatnot if we move around. But there are some issues with them. The picture clarity seems like it's not as good as we want it to be. So Carla Marie did some research, found another camera that we can buy. It's from a company called Elgato. They make this stream deck. They do a lot of streaming gear. The lights that we have. These mic arms, actually. So Carla Marie sent me their Cyber Monday deal. And I said, you know what? Before we buy anything on Cyber Monday, let's check OfferUp. And I actually think I need to do a video for other creators or people who do audio, video, photo, whatever. Everyone's wasting hundreds, if not thousands of dollars by not going to OfferUp first for their equipment, for basically anything you buy. So I go to OfferUp. Now, normally the cameras that Carla Marie is interested in are about $150 retail. For Cyber Monday, they were down to $115, I believe. I was able to find two of them for $70 and $75 on on OfferUp, which is why we need 2 because one of them's on Carla Marie, one of them's on me. I found one for $70. That's going to be shipped, so it actually comes out to like $80 with taxes and stuff. And then someone had one posted here in Seattle for $100, and I asked them to do it for $75, and they said yes. Now, where am I going with this? That brings me to yesterday, when I foolishly asked Carla Marie if she would like to join me as I picked up one of the cameras, the $75 camera from the person who was selling it here in Seattle. And Carla Marie was the closest real life incarnation of one of those progressive, you're acting like your parents commercials that I've ever seen.
Okay.
We pulled up and she's like, so where do we go now? What do we do? What does he look like? Have you called him? Did you let him?
Okay.
Oh my Lord.
Let's be clear. I sell things on Facebook Marketplace all the time. I mean, all the time. I interact with people all the time on there. I meet them in parking lots.
This is not helping your case.
What you were doing was so bizarre.
Why?
I'm weird. This is what Anthony does. Gets out of the parking lot of a business in like kind of a shady part of Seattle.
Okay.
Gets out of the car. Okay. This will be the back of the car, right?
Okay.
It goes like this.
Yeah, I was just waiting outside of the car.
And you're like a mobster, just like hanging out, leaning on the car. And I was like, what are you doing? Let's get back in the car. This is weird.
Are we going in the store? How do you know what he looks like? Just the questions that I was getting from Carla Marie.
The leaning on the car.
So all of your questions you're saying are canceled out by me leaning on the car. What was I supposed to do? Push-ups?
I sit in the car until the person gets there.
No, I get there, I tell them what kind of car I'm in, and then I get out of the car. Because then they know, instead of walking up to a car, because especially because we have a very popular car here in Seattle. Everyone's got the Mazda CX-5.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, one time I was picking up one of these lights, which I bought on OfferUp, and I bought on OfferUp.
You said I bought.
Oh, I bought it on OfferUp. And I was pulling up, and I was letting the person know what kind of car I was in. And I said something like, I'm in a black Mazda CX-5. I'm not, because I was going to a more crowded parking lot. It was like a mall. So I'm not sure that's going to help, though, because everyone in this state has a Mazda CX-5. And sure enough, they also had a black Mazda CX-5.
Yeah, it's cool.
So that's why I stand outside of the car. You know? But there were just a lot of questions that Carla Marie was asking. The way you were
leaning, though, is if you were about to, like, pimp me out to somebody.
No, that was not the plan. I was the one paying. I wasn't making money there.
It's like, so I was just supposed to lean on the car with you?
No, you could have stood however you wanted to stand. You could have just stood there and been quiet.
Also,
you chose not to.
So this guy, super nice. It was a very quick exchange. Also, you walked up to him, handing him the money like this, like you were a child.
I don't know. I don't remember that.
You were like, here you go.
I did not. My voice didn't go that high.
It did. So he gives us this camera. It's in the box, brand new. And I realize this guy, so we're both there. This guy definitely thinks we're using this to stream on OnlyFans.
We should have told him to come to this stream.
He 100% thinks that that's what we were doing with that camera.
Maybe. I mean, what I do love about OfferUp, though, is I got both of the cameras that we're going to end up getting. Hopefully the one does come through the mail and is working for the price of one. Yeah. It's great. It's cheaper than their Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals.
Yeah, it's wild.
Like, if you need a camera, a microphone, a stand, you should be checking OfferUp first. And no, they don't pay us at all. I would love it because they are based here in Bellevue, Washington. If you know anyone that works at OfferUp, please give them our info. But I'd say, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's at least 10 things that we have in this studio space from OfferUp.
Not mentioning all your toys.
My toys.
Your games.
Oh, the Pokemon stuff? Yeah, that's also a good place for it. Although, I'm going to do another video. I'm actually planning this one out. I'm going to start it on Thursday, of all the retro game stores that I go to in Seattle and how they're great places to shop for Christmas gifts this year. If you want something that's unique, something retro, unique, something that stands out, go to a retro game store or like an old video music store as well. Get a cool record.
You don't have to go to an old store. You can go to Urban Outfitters to get a record.
That's true. Apparently, they're selling a lot of tapes too. Tapes are like at the highest they've ever been since the early 2000s.
Tapes, so you can get Taylor Swift's new albums on tapes and CDs. I've sent you the video of like, it was a mom who's our age with her kids who are like 10, and they open the Taylor Swift CD, and the kids are like, how do you get, and they're like pulling, they don't know how to get it out, and the mom's just letting them try to figure it out. And when I say kids, they're like 10 to 12 years old. And they're like, how do you, and they're trying to get the CD, but they don't want to bend it, and the mom just pokes the middle thing. And they go, whoa!
I will say, I still don't know how to play a record.
I can.
I mean, I know you have to put the needle on it, right? You take it out, you put the needle on it, but I don't know what that does.
To pass, this is like my old person thing.
Yeah.
To say to like the young Gen Zs. I guess they still do it actually. To pass your DJ test at Rutgers in order to be able to be on the radio, the final part of the test was you had to be able to play a record.
You realize how useless that is though, right?
No, because in order to be on that radio station and to have a show, 20% of your show had to come from a certain part of our library, music-wise, and it was only records.
That's so stupid.
It's cool.
It's so stupid.
You just said you don't know how to do it, and I do.
Because it's not you.
That was also 15 years ago.
Okay, but that's dumb, and I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
That's supposed to be a like learning experience, right? What they're teaching you is a waste of your time because there is not one radio station in this country.
No, but you don't think it's like an art? It's because it wasn't just teaching you radio to go do radio, because guess what you don't do when you go to a radio station? Pick the music.
Okay. But
so then that whole point,
but picking the music is still,
it's not.
Picking the music is still a job for somebody. It is.
No,
it absolutely is.
Company.
Like our friend Josh Martinez works with Mark to pick music in New York. Now, are there external factors?
Yes.
Absolutely. But scheduling all the music, all of that stuff
but there is no scheduling in a college radio station.
Okay. But there's also no record playing in all of radio.
That's fair. But what I'm saying is that it's like an art. You are learning. You just sat here saying it's one thing you don't know how to do. And it's one thing I learned how to do.
But I don't think my school radio station should have taught that to me.
But why not? It's not like I paid them to teach me. It's not like it was part of a class.
Okay.
It was, I volunteered at a radio station. I got paid $0 for 3 years.
So for us, it is an actual class that you're taking and you're paying for.
No. We only want people that actually want to be in radio.
You can actually volunteer as well. And you do have to take a voluntary like 4-week or 5-week course before you can join the radio station at Seton Hall. So it's a little different, I guess.
Yeah.
But let's see.
What TikTok?
Does anyone play radio? No. What's it called? Records anymore? Like I know I sent you.
It's like one of the top selling things for Christmas gifts this year.
Man. It's crazy.
It is truly what everyone is buying.
That's what I wanted to bring up. So what I do love, and it sounds like such a stupid invention, and I want to see if there's a cheaper version of it because I know this one's a little over $100, but they have Bluetooth cassette players now, so you can have you can have the retroness of a cassette player,
but listen on your
Bluetooth headphones,
not your Walkman headphones.
Yeah, which I kind of love. I don't know.
It's kind of cool. I want to hear the sound difference.
Between what, Bluetooth?
Also, it says
between all three of them?
Bring back the look and sound of the 1980s.
And there's the 90s, the early 2000s. We were still, I guess by the early 2000s, we were fully onto CDs, unless you had a car. Some people still used, like if you had an older model car.
I still had put my cassette in and it was a cassette wired to a CD thing.
Yeah, a lot of people had that. The converter.
Yeah.
Because you could also use that for a long time with iPods and MP3 players. Mm-hmm. Anything that had a headphone jack, you could plug into this cassette that plugged into your car radio. But this was like very fancy at the time. I upgraded my Jeep radio, and I could take a full iPod back when their connector was like this big. Do you remember like the old school iPods? Yeah. And I could connect it in my glove compartment and control all of it from my radio. That was like a big deal because I had my whole music library there.
You could pick different playlists?
Yeah.
Wow.
Different playlists, albums, artists, all of it.
Rain from Washington just joined the chat. Rain,
good morning.
We could use someone who is under 20.
What?
Do you buy record records
or cassettes?
Records or cassettes. Oh, and Ashley. Both of you.
Oh yeah, I saw Ashley in here earlier.
Ashley said, I don't think I've ever used a cassette player.
Let me be clear. At this point in life, there is no reason to use a cassette player other than novelty. Because it's not like the quality is better either.
Certainly not.
I know that some people will say records have like a richer sound.
But not cassettes.
Cassettes and CDs don't.
Those MP3s, man.
MP3s are what they are.
But is Spotify, like when you stream, what are you streaming? You're not streaming an MP3.
Yeah, you are. Originally, it's an MP3. It's uploaded as an MP3, or sometimes a wave.
Yeah.
It depends on kind of the bit rate and all the other stuff that they want to have on the file.
Rain said, I have 7 vinyl records, but never cassettes. But do you play the records?
Yeah, I understand, because there have been times where I've wanted to buy collector edition records. Yeah. Like, Newfound Glory comes out with a couple. Census Fails. Like, a lot of the punk bands that I like have had cool-looking records.
I have Fall Out Boy records.
I know Taylor Swift has a special one or something, right?
Come on. Just several.
Okay,
they're
what are they?
Different colors. You can get them at different stores.
Like what? Give me an example. Like what's...
The Tangerine was only at Target.
Not Red? Oh, I guess she has an album called
Sir,
Red.
Please, I need you to...
Doesn't Target do all of their things, like all their collaborations is just their Target Red, like your sweater, Mrs. Claus?
Yes. No, they don't do that. They don't do just red things.
I do miss my iPod Nano, says Matt. You know, I have the green, the clip-on iPod. Mm-hmm. Do you remember that one? Mm-hmm. I have that, I believe, still. And I have the blue. The reason I liked the blue iPod Nano, I think is what it was, or Mini, was it also had an FM tuner built in.
Oh,
so you could listen. You could watch videos if you really wanted to, but no one was doing that, or I wasn't at least. Obviously, listen to all of your music. I think they then started having podcasts back in the day and an FM tuner, so I could go for a run and listen to like a whole Yankees game.
Fred, the mailman, said, I deliver tons of vinyl on my route.
Crazy, man.
Marijuana said, we have a huge vinyl collection and regularly listen to them for music in our house.
I do believe that. I think Miles has actually told me that.
No one is lying to us.
A lot of people lie, Carlin Marie. It's the internet.
DJ Sin said...
How do we even know Fred's a mailman? You ever seen him deliver mail?
In real life?
In real life? You don't know.
I've seen photos.
The internet is full of lies.
DJ Sin said CDs are better than MP3 quality-wise, but
really?
lossless. FLAC/title is the same as CDs. Title record, like.
So that was one of the things with Tidal, the music streaming service.
Yeah.
Was it was a better quality of audio that you were streaming, which is why you were paying more for it.
Britt from Chattanooga, who is 35 years old, said, we have records but don't play them except during Christmas. I always play my Christmas records.
What? So, like, is that a compilation album of Christmas? It's like...
We had a record player growing up. I don't even know where it is now, but a lot of my parents' music were on them. So also growing up, my sister and I, we knew somewhat how to cue up a record. We weren't great at it, but like we listened to music on them.
I don't think I've ever lived in a home with a record player.
It's so like cozy.
And I'm trying to think of my grandmother's house, because obviously they've been there since the 70s. And I don't remember. I'm sure at some point before I was born, they had a record player, like when my mom was growing up, but I don't remember it in my childhood at all. You know, it was interesting. What?
There's a record player in this office.
I mean, there's a lot of things in this office.
Let's cue it up. It's true.
There are like 6-foot mannequins and flamingos, and there's a lot, not live flamingos, by the way, just fake ones.
We should do a show and tell. Like each day we bring in a new item.
Just a random thing. That'd be fun. You know, it was interesting talking about old school stuff. We were playing, so for Thanksgiving, I was back in New Jersey. Let me backtrack for a second. And my cousins from Florida are 15 and 12 or 13.
15, that's crazy.
Yeah, the oldest one is now, he has his permit, which is kind of nuts. But the other thing that's interesting, quick aside, I feel like this is happening more and more. Remember when you were able to get your permit, you tried to do it on like the first day possible. When you got your license, you tried to do it.
Can't anymore.
Well, no, in a lot of places, teenagers just don't care as much.
And they don't. I know.
I think that's the biggest thing that makes me feel old, because cars to me were freedom.
They don't care. They can Uber.
Yeah.
They'll use their parents' credit card and Uber.
Yeah.
They can go wherever they want.
I'm sure there are still teenagers who are very excited to get it. But
so some you can't because you have to do, like, you can turn 15. You can't start taking, in some states, it's different everywhere.
Yeah.
You can't start taking whatever course it is until you are 15.
Yes.
Then you have to do whatever, and some kids take forever to take the course. Our friend Ellie, her oldest son, like, just kind of like waited a year and was like, all right, I'll do it now.
Yeah, that's my cousin who's 15 now. He's in Florida. He got his permit a little bit after he was able to, and I asked him if he gets to drive like on his birthday. He's like, no, but I don't care. But anyway, so it's him and his 13-year-old brother, and we were playing the game Chronology, which is a card game. It gives you historical events, and you have to place them in your own timeline sequentially. It's
cool.
First have to guess higher or lower, in and out, and you have to build a timeline of 10 events by guessing correctly as to where that event falls in your timeline. But what we started realizing was when you play with a 13-year-old or a 15-year-old, there are certain things that just don't compute. For example, one of the questions was one of the events, I should say, is the first collection of Encyclopedia Britannica books was bound and sold, or something like that. There's a weird way it was worded, but it was about Encyclopedia Britannica.
When was it?
It was in the late 1800s, I believe.
Okay.
But immediately, because he heard pedia, my cousin was like, oh, that's the internet, like Wikipedia. I'm like, well, no. But the reason Wikipedia is named that is the same reason. But we had to start explaining.
They were books first.
Huge things, huge life events and transitions in history to these kids. Because generally speaking, it's so far removed from their life that, like, why would they know it? Why would a 13-year-old know what Encyclopedia Britannica is?
They shouldn't have to.
They didn't have to watch the old infomercials telling you to buy it. And
it's called Chronology. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Awesome game.
By the way, Ashley said, I still don't have my license. I just Uber. I never really was interested in getting it.
And that's, I think, like I said earlier, the craziest thing for me, right? Like, everyone has their one thing, like, oh, wow, kids these days do this, and I feel so removed. That's the thing for me, because I was so excited. I got to miss a final because my birthday is at the end of the year. My teacher let me miss my final to go get my license, and then I came back later in the day and took it by myself.
Mine was a Saturday, my 17th, so the DMV was closed. But on that Saturday, we went to the mall, and the car died. And then I had to take my test with a different car, but I passed. Jess from Minnesota said, I didn't get my license until I was 20 because it cost $2,000 back home, which is
in Germany. Yeah.
So I had to save up money first.
Yeah, I also would not be paying for it if it was $2,000 here in America.
Marijuana.
Maybe more people would care about getting their license if it was valuable.
Marijuana said that my son didn't know some video games had to be manually saved. That's when I felt old.
Yeah, there's a lot. And I'm trying to think of other events in Chronology that we had to explain how things worked to give my cousin some sort of, like, chance to get these cards right.
We need some sort of music, like exciting, not birthday.
I got nothing. What do you got?
Jake, the producer, is in here.
He doesn't get music.
He said today is his 16-month sub-anniversary.
Oh, well, did he say that, or did Twitch just tell us?
He said it. He's in here. I don't know. Jake, also, funny you're here because people were asking if you announced where you were going.
Oh, has he?
No.
Should we just say it?
I've been telling everyone, like, who texts me.
Didn't someone do that on Elvis's show? Jake hadn't announced something and they, like, said it on a podcast or on the show? No. I don't. He's in here. He can chat if he wants. I'm pretty sure someone on Elvis's show revealed
he was moving to Napa,
where when he was moving to California originally.
What do you say? People want to hear it on your show. What
I don't
the hell
know.
is that?
I don't know what that emoji is.
It looks like one of those paper lights.
It does.
Jake, call me.
Why is he calling you?
If he wants to reveal it right now.
Oh, no, he's not. He should do it on his.
Yeah.
Jake said, I don't think anyone spilled Napa. All right.
No, it was us. They spilled the studio.
No, not that. That's not what I'm talking about. But for some reason, I thought it was like Scary and Brody's podcast that said something before they were supposed to.
They did, but I don't know. I know what you're talking about.
It wasn't us, and I guess it wasn't Jake. But this is also a side conversation we can move on from. What do you have on the list, Carla Marie? Because that was really all we did was
offer up. You also have Cyber Monday.
Oh man, I made out like a bandit yesterday. I didn't go crazy buying things for myself, right? I stopped myself from buying certain things that I knew I was just buying because they were a little cheaper, but it wasn't necessary. Mm-hmm. But I spent retail. I would have spent close to, if not $500 yesterday. Okay. Instead, I spent 140-ish, 150. And what I bought mostly, it was supplements. So I got like 2 containers of pre-workout, 2 containers of this BCAA amino acid stuff, and then 2 containers of creatine. The 2 containers of creatine will last me almost all of next year.
That's crazy.
That by itself was supposed to be almost $300. It was a buy one, get one deal plus an extra 20% off because I spent over $100. Plus, I found out I had credits on GNC that I didn't know about. So I got an additional like $80 off, brought it all the way down. So that was phenomenal. And shout out to my cousin Julian, who's a nutritionist in Jersey, because I was talking to him before the holidays. We were working out together, and he was mentioning something about supplements. He was like, oh, by the way, don't forget to buy for yourself on Black Friday or Cyber Monday.
Yeah.
And told me about the supplement thing. Because I wouldn't have even thought about it. And then the only other thing I got was a pair of earbuds that are noise canceling finally, instead of like the cheap ones I have, which I do love. But I found that when I was traveling, I'd have like my earbuds, which were for like casual listening. I'd have headphones, my big Beats for noise canceling at the gym or whatever I needed. And then I'd have a wired pair of headphones for work. So I was like, I need to
you have a lot
minimize
headphones. And
hopefully this pair from Skull Candy does it.
I did see Julie say that she bought Seattle gummies and crochet hooks. So does that mean she's just going to be like amped crocheting?
I hope so.
I love that.
Or she could take sleep gummies or
sleep crochet
or whatever she wants. Hydration gummies.
So I've had gift cards. Truly, I have some gift cards for truly 5 years.
Yeah.
That I just haven't used because I'm always like, I don't know, what am I going to get? Whatever. And I was like, I am clearing out my gift cards. So all of my gift cards essentially tripled in amount.
That's awesome.
Like I was able to buy so much stuff that I needed. I haven't shopped for clothes in my closet because I rent for a year, like the last year, more than that really. So I was like, I'm going to buy staples. So I bought a lot of like neutral colored stuff for the most part. And then I will supplement with fun stuff from renting.
And I know a lot of people have been talking about this. Did you find, whether it was Black Friday, Cyber Monday, did you find the deals to be underwhelming this year?
I just saw that Jake said that, and no. Because
I did. I thought it was pretty underwhelming.
If a site offers less than 25% off, that's not a deal. That's just signing up for your newsletter.
A lot of them are 20 to 30% off, and I thought that's what you do on Memorial Day.
No, I saw 25, 35, I saw 40 and 50 on a lot.
50?
Yeah.
Where?
Love Wellness, the soap.
Okay.
They did 40% at first, which is when I bought it, when I was pissed, because then it went to 50.
When did you buy it?
On Wednesday, like the day before. I don't know why they did, because it was like
why would you buy it before Black Friday?
Because it was our holiday sale, and and I emailed them, and I was like, "Excuse me."
Yeah. Did they respond?
I don't know, but I was able to use the gift code on top of it, discount code, so it's not that big of a deal. But everything I've seen was like an absolute steal.
Really?
Because it was also like discount. Then even if you don't spend that full amount, you got free shipping on. Like it was just everything was great.
I felt like, for me at least, at what I saw, it was a little underwhelming. Obviously, Seattle Gummy Company had their 40% off plus R20, which is awesome. GNC was decent with the buy one, get one, and then an additional 20% off. But I felt like overall, most of the big companies were underwhelming this year. The one thing I did like is, I think, old school Black Friday, in terms of people like stabbing each other in parking lots for Xboxes, I think that's dead.
It is. You haven't seen the...
I think it's completely dead. And part of it doesn't make financial sense for a company to try to do that.
Because you have to be open all hours of the day.
And you have to hire security and pay people sometimes time and a half to
steal
work.
Things.
But I like how it's become, even though the discounts might be less, it's easier for the consumer. I can just sit home. Generally speaking, I don't have to get out of my house to buy any of this stuff.
We still want people to go to brick and mortar stores because if we have no stores, then it's going to be weird.
Yeah, I just don't think old school Black Friday was good for human beings.
But there was a video,
You know what I mean?
I don't know how real it was. It was a video of a few years ago, people bum rushing like a Best Buy. And then it was like today, it was security cameras. And then it was like today on Black Friday, it was just the doors opening and a guy walking in by himself.
That's good. Again, yes, I think people should take some time if they can afford to and go to local stores to keep local, even if it's a local Best Buy, keep those people employed, right? Let those stores, if you're going to buy something from Best Buy and generally electronics, there aren't a lot of small businesses selling big electronics.
No. Well, Small Business Saturday happened.
Yeah, no.
You can still shop at small businesses though.
But what I'm trying to say is I think removing Black Friday the way it used to be from the equation is a good thing. Like people were waking up at 4:00 in the morning to go stand outside of a Toys R Us back in the day.
Listen, I don't think people should be shopping on Thanksgiving like my family did for two
They did?
years.
I don't think my family ever did that.
We did it super early, and it was such a fun tradition on Black Friday because we'd wake up at like 4 a.m., get our like, excuse me, Dunkin' hot chocolate, and then we'd like listen to Christmas music, go to the mall, and then you'd go home and go to sleep at 10 a.m.
Okay.
But there was like a trend where the malls were opening on Thanksgiving. And my family was like, this is so cool. Like, we get to go to the mall on Thanksgiving. Like, let's go. And I was like, fine, I'll come. I got there and it was like 10 p.m. And I was like, I need to go to bed. And I'll never forget this year. My niece Gabriella and I, we Ubered home from Willowbrook Mall because we were like, we're miserable.
This year?
No.
Oh.
Never forget the year that this happened.
The only time I'd ever done anything
home.
like that was I got paid by Z100 at the time because Scary Jones was hosting one of those like super early Black Friday, but on Thanksgiving events. And I think there may have been Jingle Ball tickets or something we were giving away. And they needed additional promotional help, like street team help. And that's what my job used to be. So I got paid like $500 or something to go to this mall in Queens maybe and just stand with him. So that was fine. And I got paid extra for it. I never would have done it on my own.
Right. Jake said that you don't need Black Friday to get like a good deal on a TV anymore. And that's true.
True. Super Bowl.
Have you seen Target getting all this crap?
No.
Because so they have, they have
Is it
this,
for like gay stuff again?
No.
Isn't that what they got crap for last year? Or
this year.
This year?
And it was because there was like a rainbow kids bathing suit.
Yeah. So it's not that.
No.
Okay.
So someone went into Target and there was a Black Friday $629 TV. So it was like Black Friday deal. It said $629.
Okay.
They moved that paper, and behind it was sale $629 from the week before. And it's like you can't give them crap. We're the idiots.
Yeah.
Like they're not lying. They just. It's almost just like changing their sign. It's not like they're like Black Friday only. That's just the signage, right? So it's like Thanksgiving. Now when they do the same thing, Christmas deal. Like
it's okay. It's not lying outright, but it is misleading. Which in a relationship you would consider still lying.
No, I'm with Martha. It's advertising. And Jake said, yes, we're the idiots.
Yeah.
It's our fault.
And that's one of the things I tried to remind myself yesterday when I would see different Cyber Monday deals and stuff come through. I tried to always pause and be like, do I need this or am I only buying it because I feel like this is some weird opportunity that I need to take advantage of? 90% of the time, we don't need that thing.
But also, if it's Amazon, you can just buy it and then return it.
Yeah, which I thought about, but then I've also been in situations where I've done that or thought I was going to do that, and then you forget to return it within the right window.
Oh, never.
And then you're stuck with
never,
it.
Never.
Yeah, do I need this or do I just want this is kind of the question.
But I will say that if you can hold out to like a Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and then a lot of companies do sales after Christmas / in January because that is one of the worst times of year for retail.
Yeah.
Because no one's buying things and there's so many returns. Like all of these businesses kick off their new calendar year budget-wise with returns.
Yeah.
Like everyone's taking a hit. So a lot of times they will do sales to get people to shop. But if you can hold out on things like supplements and stuff for now, because a lot of stores do, like you said, Memorial Day or 4th of July, big sales. Then you can kind of do your shopping on things that don't go bad and things like that at these points of the year. And
with supplements, I know a lot of people if you were interested, you may have missed out on getting supplements for Black Friday or Cyber Monday. They're going to do it again in the new year because that's when everyone tries to kick off their health trend or health journey. So speaking of which, should we do one this year? I feel like it's been a while since we've done a group You Look Great challenge.
Yeah.
And we're coming close. What?
No nonsense.
No nonsense. November ends on Thursday.
December a little bit, I think.
What are you going to call it?
Just no nonsense November.
No dicking around December?
Sure.
That's a good one. Mm-hmm. Quit dicking December? No, that sounds like something else. Which you're more than welcome to participate in as well.
That's funny. Okay, what else is on the list? Today is my heart test.
Oh, yeah, explain this.
So I'm getting a coronary calcium test or exam. I forget what it's called. But it's basically like a CT. So you lay down and they like pull a little donut machine under you and they spin it around.
A donut machine?
It's shaped like a donut. So
what do you mean under you? Like you sit on it?
You lay on a table and then it spins under you and looks at the calcification in your arteries. But for 4 hours leading up to the exam, I can't work out. I can't have caffeine or any other stimulant. I just got really dizzy. Sorry. Things like that happen. Any other stimulants. And one thing I read online said no food, so I'm just not going to eat food. But so I haven't had a gummy today because I don't.
May as well.
I know it's 4 hours, but they don't want you to have any of that. So I was like, whatever. I'll be good.
You'll be all right. You'll make it.
Yeah.
And what time is this test here?
I have to be there 2:40 our time to get into my hospital gown.
And then you just lay down on this thing, they scan you, and they send you home. Mm-hmm. And then what are they? They're looking for calcium buildup in your heart.
In my arteries.
In your arteries.
Yes.
And then when do you find out? When does the doctor call you?
It all depends, I guess. Like my cousin took a week for his, but like 2 days sometimes.
Okay.
And insurance doesn't cover this. It's $200, which isn't bad, but
I mean, $200 to hopefully let you know that you are or are not susceptible to a heart attack is
correct. Good. The problem is I think insurance isn't covering it because I have no what is it called? When you have pre-issues?
Pre-existing conditions?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
They're not
covering it because I don't have any, even though I told my doctor I'm having heart issues. Yeah. They're like, yeah, but you're 35.
So it's not that you don't have pre-existing conditions. It's just you don't fall within their guidelines or parameters of needing this test.
So, which it should be preventative. Anyway, my insurance, I've paid $210 every month this year, and they have covered nothing of my $10,000 in medical bills that I've had.
There's actually a big thing, and our government doesn't, our politicians, I should say, don't agree on a lot. But apparently there's politicians on both sides. I forgot what the insurance group was. I'm sure someone in the chat knows. They're coming together there's Medical Plus or something. It's an insurance company, and I know they target older people, and they've been actively denying most elderly customers care. And we might actually see some movement in insurance companies needing to provide insurance for people that pay for it.
But Washington is one of the states where you don't legally need insurance. So I've truly looked at all right, if I just do the Amazon or the Costco healthcare.
Yeah.
The problem is when you go to an ER, but it doesn't matter because they didn't cover my ER bill this year.
Also, I think most places you can negotiate your ER
I have,
payments.
And I did.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's annoying. It's an annoying process, and you have to file tax paperwork to do that. But the whole system is kind of screwed. I will say,
I don't know what I might do it. I might do no insurance.
Run Like a Husky said, Marketplace sucks, which is I think what I use. Right? It's from the Affordable Care Act from Obamacare.
If you're a small business owner, that's what you're using.
I've been pretty happy with mine. I'm still waiting for some sort of kick in the nuts. We're like, oh, by the way, you owed this much money, or we're never going to help you again in your life. But with my torn Achilles, I've done pretty well. They've taken care of everything. Granted, I make no money, so
sorry to interrupt. Run Like a Husky. Can you DM me? They said I pay less out of pocket than if I had Marketplace. Because what a lot of doctors do, if you don't have insurance, they give you a discount. Yeah. And they know they're more, by the time they get the money from insurance paying them, they'd rather just get your percentage discount.
It's less paperwork.
It's just,
you just pay and you walk out.
They love it. So I've got 2 weeks to decide the rest of my year. Run Like a Husky, if you could DM me, thank you.
Okay, because we're in, open enrollment for all these companies? Mm-hmm. Which is kind of crazy when they're like, if you want insurance next year, you have to tell us right now in this 1 month. Like, why couldn't I sign up in October?
If you start a new job, you can.
Yeah. Open enrollment. I used to just ignore all of those emails when I had an actual job that provided benefits.
Well, we still had to sign up for
Yeah,
them.
I just would click, like, I'd wait until the last day and then basically just click everything that I had the year before and move on with my life. Like, once
How privileged
yeah.
to have a job and have to do that.
I just told my brother Michael's working at a place, and it's like a lot of tech companies. They're going through some adjustments, and the reality is there's a chance. I don't think it'll happen, but there's a chance that he gets let go,
Right.
or they fold, or they sell, or whatever it is. And I texted him yesterday. I said, "Hey man, if you think this is a possibility for you, and even if you don't, get all of your doctor's appointments done now. That way you get them out of the way, and it's not something you have to worry about in the new year if you're looking for a new job."
And in that case, if you do have to go however long without insurance, at least you know, like, for me, it is weird because I know that there are issues that I am dealing with. So it's like, should I get insurance? But if you get like a clean bill of health, you're like,
yeah.
Like, I only need an eye exam every 3 years. So I don't need to worry about having eyeball insurance because that's separate.
Yeah.
No sense. So, like, there's things like that where you don't have to.
I used to be rich. I used to pay for eyeball insurance.
Which was so stupid because you literally never went.
I never used one. It was $8 a month down the drain.
Lenny said, when I needed a sonogram of my stomach issues, if I didn't have insurance, it was $30, but it cost $250 through insurance.
It's crazy.
All right, this chat made me realize I'm going to do no insurance next year.
All right,
I'm going to free ball it.
Good luck.
Is there another term?
Other than free balling it, you could raw dog your insurance.
No, I won't have insurance.
Oh yeah,
I'm raw dogging my health care.
yeah.
I'm literally going to like lose my arm in January.
What else you got there?
But I'll do a GoFundMe. Everyone will help, right?
Oh, Commando Insurance. DJ Synth, thank you very much. I like that one. You're going Commando.
I did last year using
Is that the General? Isn't that Shaq? The company that Shaq always does
I don't
ads
know.
for? And the little cartoon
Turn to
General?
the General. Dun, 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 whatever.
I think that's only car insurance.
Oh, yeah. I used a insurance broker last year. So they make money from the insurance company, I believe, if you sign up through them. But this guy was really, and a friend recommended him. He was
So it's
really,
like getting a real estate agent to buy you a house?
yeah. It was really
Or to help
helpful.
you buy a house? I've never heard of an insurance broker. So they're just a third party that helps people connect with you tell them what you need, and they go through all the hoops and they know
Yeah.
the system.
Basically.
Makes sense.
But Jen said, we have a friend that tore his ACL with no insurance. He's now waiting till January to get surgery. But that's also common with insurance.
It depends.
I don't know how much,
Depends on where you are. Like when you're in a city, for example, like I had way more options here in Seattle because there are multiple hospitals, multiple care providers here in Seattle. If you live somewhere that's a little more remote, you might have to travel further. I was super lucky. The time that I wasted when I tore my Achilles, a lot of it was just me not understanding the system.
But you shouldn't have to understand the system.
To a degree, there's a learning curve with everything, right? It was annoying. There were things that I wish were different in the system, but now that I understand it, hopefully this never happens again or anything like it, but I understand the process a little better.
Right.
And I understand there are certain people you do have to follow up with. They're not going to reach out to you as soon as they have test results or things signed. But with that said, with the learning curve, I got most of my appointments pretty quickly. Looking back at it.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't need surgery though, so who knows?
Angela in Spokane said most people do all their surgeries at the end of the year because that's when they hit their deductible. Yeah. So they're trying to get, everyone in. Now, I know that both of my sister and my niece did the gastro stomach thing.
That's where they make your stomach smaller?
Yeah, and it was approved by insurance.
Yeah.
But how much were you going to have to cover? So they both waited till December when they hit their deductible and they didn't have to pay for it. So someone if all the ACL people decided to wait a month to hit their deductible.
I don't think the stomach doctor's doing the ACL surgery, though.
I'm talking about the ACL. Like, if someone tore their ACL last month, they're like, just give me a month. Because that's something you can live with for a little bit.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, most of those things you want to handle quickly so they don't start healing incorrectly. But yeah,
But I'll tell you what, I learned a lot. I over since we've got let go till now of, I always understood having insurance was, I guess I never understood it was a privilege because it really is. Mm-hmm. I think I kind of understood, like, I'm so lucky to have this. I don't know what it would be like without. And now I look back and I'm like, you son of a bitch. You were so privileged.
Yeah, but I feel like you went to you did your doctor stuff.
I did.
Yeah.
But I don't think I understood how easy it was.
And I think the other part is also there's a sense of security that you have.
That's what I
mean. Right. And security at the end of the day, when people say like, oh, money doesn't matter or money doesn't make you happy or things like that. It's not that the money itself makes you happy, but you are able to appreciate and be happier when you feel secure. Mm-hmm. And financial security is probably the biggest thing that we worry about in America, because generally speaking, yes, there are bad things that happen in America, but generally speaking, this is a safe place to live.
Yeah.
And your biggest problem, we're not living in the Middle East where we're worried about a terrorist attack or a country dropping bombs on our schools and homes.
Right.
We are worried about financial stuff here in America. That's what we deal with, and that's what holds us back. And that's why when they do all those polls of like the happiest places in the world to live, it's why Nordic countries do so well. It's not because the people are overly joyous.
No.
It's because they don't worry about a lot of the things that we worry about here.
The day-to-day things.
They don't worry about childcare. They don't worry about healthcare. They don't worry about elder care. 3 of the things that probably cause you the most stress.
Yeah.
And everything else are kind of just on your own.
It's crazy. Can we go there?
To which Nordic country would you like to go to? I would like to visit some.
I think Finland.
Finland would be, is that Helsinki is in Finland, right? Yeah. I'd go.
It's the one that had the 2 Santas that were married, and it set everybody off. Last year, there was like this
Were they at Target?
No, it was in Finland or one of the countries, and it was like, this is Santa's husband. And
I have no idea.
Americans were like, light it all on fire.
Does anyone know? Jen from Jersey City said, elder care in this country will make you sick. It's so sad. It is. It's very sad.
Yeah, Finland is expensive. All right, what about Denmark? How are they doing there?
I think they're all kind of similar, no? Iceland, Denmark, Finland, Sweden, Norway.
My friend played for a hockey team in Finland for a year to 2 years. He had a sauna, as they say, in his house. Norway, that's the one I want to go to.
Okay. Norway, capital of Norway. I don't think I know this, actually. I know Finland is Helsinki. Stockholm, Sweden, Norway. I don't know. You're looking it up?
Oslo.
I should have known that. We got a smart chat here.
Or they're quick with the Googles.
How many people was that? That was
1, 2,
Kendi, Liz,
5.
Jen, DJ Synth, and Rebecca. Well done, everybody. Well, good job, class. Good job. Everyone, you all get a star today.
Okay, I would go there. What's the time difference?
Chat's going to come in with that. I don't know. I've memorized a lot.
What time is it in Oslo, Norway? 5:54 p.m. So we'd be doing a night show, a little happy hour show.
That's not bad. It would be great if we could move to a place where we're doing a morning show for Americans, but we don't have to wake up to do a morning show. Like, it would be in the middle of the afternoon for us. So we're awake already. We don't have to wake up early.
I don't want to do anything in the middle of the afternoon.
No? What do you want? You don't want to wake up early.
No.
You don't want to work in the afternoon. 1 hour a day. Oh, no, we work way more than 1 hour a day. My cousins that I was talking about earlier, because they're starting to understand like different people's jobs and whatnot and ask questions. And they were asking me how many times we do Twitch. And obviously they're very well aware of Twitch and YouTube and things like that. They didn't really understand podcasting, which I thought was interesting.
Your little cousins?
Yeah. But also I think they probably get what we consider podcast content from YouTube. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, they were asking me about different things that we do for work, podcasting, YouTube, Twitch. And I said, well, we do our Twitch show 3 days a week. It's usually 8 o'clock our time in Seattle, and we're usually off by 9 or 9:30. And they were like, oh, man, you only have to work an hour and a half every day. And I was like, no.
I wish.
I am only live on Twitch for an hour and a half those 3 days. I said, we also have a podcast that we do 5 days a week. And they said, well, how long is the podcast? I said, well, the podcast is always under 25 minutes. Oh my God, you only have to work 25 minutes? I said, no. So making that 25-minute podcast could take up to 4 hours.
Yeah.
And then you add that to the Twitch show. Now you're at 6.5 hours most days. And then I was like, and on Monday, we had this meeting that went 45 minutes, this meeting that went an hour, and I'm starting to add it up. But because they don't have a regular work day in their mind, none of it's going to really compute.
Yeah.
They just see this result. And they're like, oh, that seems awesome.
Yeah.
But it is, and I'm not trying to listen. Thank you, Run Like a Husky. She said, we appreciate your hard work. I wasn't doing that for compliments. I was just trying to explain.
I don't know that we work hard. It's just tedious.
I'd say we work hard. I'd say both of us are hard workers.
Like when someone works hard, they have to be a construction worker.
It's different.
In my brain.
Yeah.
Like you can be an accountant. You just work a lot and long hours. If you're working, but again, this is in my brain when I think of this. If you're working hard, it is a physical, manual labor.
You connect it with physical difficulty.
Yeah.
I would say the people that work hard, generally, I give it teachers, nurses, right?
Yes.
Those are the two biggest for me. And I know people are like, oh, well, what about firefighters and police officers? Yes. I just think when you compare what they do, how important it is and what they get paid.
That's fair.
Nurses and teachers are probably the most underappreciated and underpaid people in society. And I know that someone's going to come in and say, well, they don't turn a profit like this person at this corporation does. And that's not, I don't know if turning a profit is the most important thing. No. I think caring for people like nurses and developing children like teachers, those are the two most important jobs you have.
That.
And I think they're hard jobs too. When you're dealing with a group of children, dealing with one child is tough.
I know.
Dealing with a group and trying to get them to learn and be better, super difficult. And nurses deal with all the crap that doctors don't want to deal with and don't get paid what the doctors get paid. Granted, they didn't go to school as long. I understand there's that part of it, but
teaching is something that I think I would only be able to do it if it was college. Because high school kids because in college, all of a sudden you're like, as a student, you're like, oh, on my own. Like, I don't know anyone here, so I'm not going to be a wise ass yet. Like, in high school, everyone's trying to be funny, trying to dick around. And then when they're kids, they're just sick all the time.
I think, and if there's any high school teachers in the room, in the community right now, let us know in the chat. I think with high school teachers, and I've talked to a couple, yes, they have kids that can be a-holes. But I think in every class, you have a couple kids that make the whole thing worth it.
I'm sure, but I don't want to deal with the other ones.
You know what I mean? Like, I remember, this was only 3 days for me, so keep in mind, I wasn't teaching. It was 3 days. It was a while ago. So it's a whole different experience. But my friend was a high school teacher, and he was asked to help with the track team. Now, I'd either just graduated college or I was maybe my senior year. I was still very much a Division I college athlete at that point. Mm-hmm. And out of their whole crew of teachers, none of them ran track or competed in track and field. So they wanted me to come in and help with 2 of the events, the triple jump, 3 of the events, triple jump, long jump, and javelin. I was in college. They were high school kids.
Okay.
So he just asked me, he's like, none of us know these events. Can you just come help? We have a kid who might actually be really good at the javelin, but none of us have thrown the javelin.
It's crazy.
There's a very small group of people who have done that, so it's hard to expect every high school to have a coach that knows how to throw the javelin. So I went there for 3 days, and I helped the boys team.
Why not the girls?
I don't know. I don't know if they split them up entirely.
Sexist.
Maybe there were some girls. I don't remember. But it was mainly, the reason I say the boys team is there were mainly 2 guys who the coaches were like, these guys are really good, and we just don't have the tools to train them. And we don't want to hold them back, so can you come and help them out? And it was frustrating for me because so many of the kids were just, dicking around and like you do in a track meet or a track practice. But like I said earlier, the 2 to 3 kids that really got it and you could tell cared, it made the whole 3-day experience for me worth it. And then it turns out, so I trained with them Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They had a track meet that weekend. And then I never went back because they had to get on. I had to get about my life. They got on with their lives. But apparently the kid they were really interested in for javelin ended up having his best throw by like 30 feet.
Damn.
One of the most gratifying
Yeah.
texts I ever got from my friend.
But where is he now?
I don't know.
Olympics?
Probably not. Especially
Do you
because
even know his name?
not anymore. This was 16 years ago.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I coached 16
I don't remember
cheerleaders.
names of people I see on a daily basis.
We know.
So
I coached 60 cheerleaders who were probably between the ages of 8 and 10. I don't know if I had 8 and 10 or 10 to 13. That is an eye-opening experience and is probably a huge part of the reason I was like, I'm good on the kid front for a long time.
that's a tough age.
60 screaming,
Yeah. And
happy,
cheerleading, right?
excited girls.
Yeah.
I used to be like, listen to me, you little shits. They loved me, but I would be like, get in line. Like I would not fly today with today's parents. I'd be fired immediately.
Yeah. But I think some parents are okay with it. I think we hear in media and in the news the craziest parents, the super helicopter parents, but I think most parents understand their kid needs someone to not rein them in, but put them on a path to accomplishing whatever that goal is.
I have a story about those parents. The
helicopter parents?
Yeah. I don't want to give too much information on the school or where the kid is, so I'm going to talk slowly because I haven't even told you this story. I have a friend who was bringing their kid to, it's like a school daycare kind of thing.
Okay.
And there was another teacher there, and the parents said to the other teacher, do you play Sesame Street in class?
Okay.
I knew these are like not even in kindergarten yet kids.
Okay, so the parent asks the teacher, do you play Sesame Street?
And they said, well, yeah, sometimes. And they said, we don't want her watching Sesame Street. And they were like, well, we play it as part of like learning because they teach them letters, numbers, and
how else do you learn how to count?
And I forget what the reasoning was, but they were just like, we don't ever want her watching any video or at all. Like she can't watch TV, movies, none of it. And we don't like the way they teach on Sesame Street or something along the lines of like, they think it's like I guess brainwashing them to an extent. They don't like that.
Do you think Sesame Street is like grooming people? What is
they don't like the repetitiveness of like brainwashing a kid, but that is how you learn.
Yeah. How else do you learn the alphabets or counting?
So I don't know if that kid sits in a closet and doesn't watch Sesame Street.
You are allowed, as a parent, to want your kids to learn in whatever way you want them to learn. However,
if you're not teaching,
at some point, you're going to have to either do it yourself, pull yourself out of whatever job you've got and homeschool them, or maybe you get to work from home, or you let the system do what it does and you work on the system.
Yeah.
But I don't think Sesame Street is making your kids dumber.
No.
I don't know.
I don't know. But my niece, who's 10 months old, watches Sesame Street and Elmo. It's mainly just like the Elmo show on YouTube.
That's what your niece
Adriana watches.
Okay.
And it's like, I mean, you could sing all the song. Like, she's seen almost every video. She's obsessed with it. But I did tell my sister, I'm like, bro, you need to stop. The second this kid wakes up, you put on Elmo. And she's all the time, spends her whole day watching videos.
Well, your sister works from home, right?
Yeah, but it has nothing to do with my sister because it's the grandparents that are watching.
Okay, well,
whatever. So I'm like, you guys, like, listen, it's not my kid. Do what you want. But having video from 6 a.m. to the moment she goes to bed is probably, like, she doesn't want to pay attention to anyone else around her. She's just like,
yeah, maybe most people would probably agree with this. I think the balance is between that parent you were talking about and this.
Yeah.
There's somewhere in between.
But like, she loves it. And I'm like, I get it. And it's cute. I completely understand that. But let's break this habit now before she doesn't want to talk to any of us.
Yeah.
But yeah. Da-da-da-da-da-da. It's Elmo song. Elmo.
It's interesting. A lot of people in the chat, I think, thought the same thing when you brought up the Sesame Street thing. The parents not wanting their kids to watch Sesame Street, but it had nothing to do with them being too progressive. It was the way they teach.
The way they teach.
I feel like every complaint that I've heard, and granted, it's a lot of probably the media blowing things out of proportion, but it's parents calling everything woke, right? If there's a gay character, or if there's a character in a wheelchair, or if there's a black character, it's.
But let's be honest, Bert and Ernie have been living together as single men our whole lives. They're like, come on.
They're banging.
They're definitely gay. And parents all of a sudden now grew up and were like, wait,
But it has nothing to do with that. It's the way that
and also
Sesame Street...
Sesame Street doesn't say that they're gay. I'm just saying.
No, everyone knows that they're gay, though.
Yeah. I don't think some parents do. It was the way they teach.
Yeah.
So if you have 12 kids in the class, right? 6 parents come to you and different things they want for their kids. I can't.
Milwaukee Tom said, aren't Bert and Ernie brothers? They're definitely not brothers.
I don't think they're brothers. They're friends.
They're brothers. They're happy and they're singing.
I don't know.
I
could watch Sesame Street.
Do you remember that TV show, The Wayans Brothers? That was their intro.
I just Googled our Bert and Ernie, and brothers and gay are the top 2.
So what's the answer?
They're best friends. There's so much more to human being than just straightness or gayness, Sesame Street went on to clarify further, stating, no, Bert and Ernie aren't gay. They're best friends. Oh. At last, I thought, if Jim and I had created Bert and Ernie as gay characters, they would be inauthentic coming from 2 straight men.
Sounds like an excuse. Sounds like they're gay.
Yeah. So.
For the record, I don't care if Bert and Ernie are gay or not.
Did you also see the meme that was like, oh, Sesame Street has its first homeless character this season? Someone's like, hello? Oscar the Grouch has been living in a garbage can for 30 years.
Is it a human that's homeless?
Yeah.
Okay. So Oscar has a buddy.
Yeah.
Oscar's making an encampment.
It's a kid.
That's what he's doing. Next thing you know, they're going to have an RV. It's going to have a platform on top like the one we have a couple of blocks away. Although I think that one's gone. There was a big issue here in Seattle because it's actually kind of hilarious when you remove it from the fact that some of these people don't have homes. Someone took an RV and started building a second story on top of it. It basically made it
but they were like DJing from it.
Full 2-story home. They were doing DJ sets from the top. Everything about it was ridiculous. It was one of the most Seattle stories I think I've ever heard.
Yeah, it was crazy.
But if you're from Seattle, you're familiar. But
if you haven't watched Sesame Street in a while, like obviously if you have older kids or you don't have kids, and you put it on, you're just like, it's like so well done and it's so cute.
Well, they've been doing that for a long time.
I used to love Sesame Street as a kid.
There used to be a Jim Henson, right? Yes. Is the guy? There used to be a Jim Henson exhibit here at Mopop, and it was really good.
Yeah.
Explaining how it got its start and kind of the core values of every episode that you can find throughout. What, Snuffleupagus?
Is he still around? I haven't seen him.
I don't know. Weed's legal now, so I don't know where he's at.
What do you mean?
Snuffleupagus was always super high.
He was just tired, I think.
That's what people on the weed like you to think.
But I did talk about this.
Google it. Was Snuffleupagus a drug addict?
I did talk about this in the Morning Show podcast, how next year Sesame Street is going away from doing... So right now I believe they do like... It's almost like 6-minute bits in one episode, right? Next year it's going to be like 2 12-minute bits with a cartoon version of Sesame Street in between.
The only reason I moved your hand, by the way, is because it triggered my camera to move.
Oh, can you smell his name?
Snuffleupagus? Absolutely not. I'll try, though.
Okay. Mr., by the way.
Okay. M-R, period.
No.
S-N-U-F-L-U. Did I get it right?
No, but can you say his name?
Snuffleupagus. What's his name?
That's what I say.
What is it?
Snuffleupagus.
Stop it. The P is silent.
No, you're not saying the G.
Snuffleupagus. Oh yeah, I was saying fluff, like Snuffleupagus. I was doing fluff twice. Snuffleupagus? Stop it. I had those letters correct. I was never going to put a P there though.
No, Snuffleupa. Yeah, I was saying Snuffleupa.
Yeah, same. Snuffleupagus. Snuffleupagus.
3-year-olds can say that. Snuffleupa.
Snuffleupagus.
Pugus. Like,
I wonder what the pugus ending is, if that's like a Greek root of a word.
Aloysius Snuffleupagus, more commonly known as Mr. Snuffleupagus or Snuffy for short.
What's his first name?
Aloysius. Martha called us idiots.
I had no idea.
Wait, Snuffy is revealed. Oh,
there's always upagus. You got me. Upagus.
He's a mammoth. He is a giant anteater-like mammoth creature without tusks or visible ears and has a long, thick, pointed tail, similar in shape to a dinosaur.
Snuffleupagus.
He's feathery hair in a trunk or snuffle that sometimes drags along the ground. He is Big Bird's best friend and has a younger sister named Alice. He also attends Snuffle Garden.
Also loves the weed.
Okay, so let's Google that.
What are you going to tell me next? The Count isn't the Count? Count Von Count? That is his name, right? Count Von Count?
I don't think so.
Pretty sure it is. Do the Googles. Count.
Why was Snuffleupagus removed from Sesame Street?
Oh, did it get canceled?
I don't see anything about him being high. Oh, snorting with Snuffleupagus.
What? His name, by the way, I did get this right. Count Von Count.
Wow. So that means count with count, right?
Von? I don't know what the Von...
Or no.
I don't know what Von means.
For decades, children have loved shows such as Sesame Street. However, upon further inspection, it seems as though Sesame Street, in particular, is full of adult content which may provide subliminal messages to children and contribute to problematic behavior down the road.
Like what?
This is from
Smoking the
Lakeland
Chiba?
Mirror, a student-run news site.
Smoking those funny cigarettes?
The first culprit is Snuffleupagus, who is always dragging his feet and sneezing, which leads us to believe he is high on drugs. His constant sniffing may be another indication that he is a cocaine user.
Oh, I never thought. No, he's too tired to be on cocaine all the time.
If Snuffleupagus is truly sick, it would be more productive for the show to display him receiving medical attention and articulating his needs to professionals.
Where is this? The Blaze? Who wrote this article?
Lakeland Mirror, a student-run newspaper.
Yeah.
There's a possibility that Cookie Monster shows kids it's okay to be addicted to controlled substances. Additionally, Oscar the Grouch is not only rude to all the other characters, but he's also a hoarder.
Where's he hoarding things?
He prefers to be alone in his garbage-filled trash can. He professes love for trash and unwillingness to part with any of his belongings.
That's true. I forgot about that. He's like very protective of his stuff, right? But I also would be protective of my stuff if I lived in a trash can.
And they yell at him for not sharing.
Yeah.
Elmo is inappropriately affectionate. Elmo's demands that kids give Elmo a kiss are abnormal. Okay. The stuffed animal Elmo is like, give Elmo a kiss.
He's a little aggressive, but he's asking. There's consent there, I guess. Right? He's not like
Can I have?
Yeah.
But that's not what he says.
Oh, okay.
But also, Elmo kind of doesn't talk in full sentences. Big Bird is another plausible drug user. It is like...
Why is Big Bird on the drugs?
It is likely that his seemingly gigantic size is a side effect of using acid. His size is simply his own perception of himself.
You mean to tell me to get bigger this whole time I just had to take acid? You know how much protein I've eaten in my life? I could have just been dropping acid. I messed up.
Guys.
Does anyone know about acid making you larger? Or is he what people would be viewing on acid if they saw?
It's what he's saying he sees himself as.
Okay. Interesting.
Do you remember when Tickle Me Elmo was like,
yeah,
murder another parent so you can get the
That
Elmo?
was the Black Friday deals type of thing. It was parents fighting each other in the aisles of Toys R Us over one of the creepier toys that's ever been put out there.
Yeah.
And people were reselling those for hundreds, thousands of dollars.
And in
crazy.
trunks of their cars.
Yeah. And that's back in the day where you had to know a guy, right? You had to know a shady guy that was going to go stab someone for a Tickle Me Elmo.
Offer up.
Yeah. You couldn't just go on the internet and find one or get a fake one made in China and sent to your home.
I don't remember. Like
You had to punch a parent in the face for that toy. Good old days.
What was it when we were kids? Because that was even, I was
too old. Yeah, that was way.
My nieces they were the Tickle Me Elmo age, I believe.
I don't remember. I was too young to probably comprehend how hard some of those things. I'm sure like Ninja Turtle toys, but I don't know if there was one specific Ninja Turtle toy that had parents punching each other.
What? Lacey said, have you seen that toy with no fur? Nightmare.
Nope. Is it like a hairless cat? Those things creep me out. Oh yeah, Jingle All the Way was basically
the most accurate Christmas movie there is.
But it was basically about Tickle Me Elmo. If you replace the toys, it's essentially the same thing. It was Rocket Man.
Is that what it's called?
Rocket.
Oh, Cabbage Patch Kids, Teletubbies were pretty big. Power Rangers.
But
Furbies, that was ours.
But again, there were multiple types of Furbies you could get, right? There were multiple Power Rangers toys you could get for a
Tickle Me Elmo
kid.
was just Tickle Me Elmo.
It was the one. I think that's what set it apart. Was it wasn't the whole Sesame Street line that you were trying to get.
It was just one.
It was that this guy, Tickle Me Elmo.
Call Danielle, she'll do it.
Turbo Man, not Rocket Man. Thank you, Justin.
Rocket Man.
That's what I kept singing in my head, but I knew it wasn't right. Power Rangers, yeah, all of those things. Cabbage Patch Kids, I know they were huge. Were Teletubbies? I know the show was huge. Were kids like clamoring for Teletubby toys?
Yeah, because didn't the one stomach, like on the actual stuffed animal, the TV did something? I remember that.
I thought they all had powers from their stomachs, no?
I don't know. My nieces love Teletubbies and Big Comfy Couch.
I don't know, Big Comfy Couch.
With Molly, and she would do the stretches with her legs.
No,
Clock.
I'm not familiar with that. I probably didn't have a kid in my family at the time who liked that. Therefore, it was just not on my radar at all.
Well, no, because didn't your cousin George and my nieces the same age, or no? We just did this.
Yeah, but maybe that just wasn't.
I guess he wasn't watching Molly.
Yeah.
The clock rug, yeah.
The clock rug?
Yeah, so she would do her stretches on this clock rug.
Yeah.
And her leg would come all the way around.
Oh, this is Run Like a Husky brought up a good point. When the big consoles first came out, those were also insanely hard to get. And it still happens today with whenever the PS6 is going to drop, that will be around a holiday and it'll be insane to get.
Sneaker drops too, some people wait in line for.
Yeah, those are all year long.
Yeah.
Those aren't just for Christmas.
I forgot about the Dust Bunnies. Thank you, Kendi, and Big Comfy Couch. But do you remember, this is like a deep cut. Not everyone knows. I know the chat will, though.
What?
Gullah Gullah Island.
Oh, I know. I remember
Let's
the song.
Let's all go to
Gullah Gullah Island. Yeah. Was it a spinoff of like Gilligan's Island? No. Was there any connection?
No.
Sounds a little too familiar.
Binya Binya Pollywog.
Is that from Gullah Gullah Island? I don't remember the characters, but I remember the show. I remember watching it. You know what? We're on now a tangent of just talking about old things. So we are going to wrap it up today.
Sesame Street today. Snort and Snuffleupagus.
Was there something on the list?
We're good.
We're good? Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. We are going to be back on Thursday. Don't forget, there is a new episode of the Morning Show podcast available today. It'll be available tomorrow. It'll be available basically every day you wake up between a Monday and a Friday.
Okay.
Don't expect anything from us on Saturdays and Sundays, though. Peace out.